Good morning, everyone. How are y'all doing today? I was looking, I was scrolling through Derrick. I haven't seen Derrick Green's name yet. Where's Derrick Green? What do we got? Cause I'm just like out here in the middle of this marsh, trying to trying to figure it out. That my internet started to like kind of go a little crazy. But let me just tell y'all, it's not that windy today. It's a little bit on the chillier side, but it's not that windy. And today is our last day, our last full day here at the beach. So we're going to be finishing beach strong. We have a little theme that we do down here when I go on vacation with the kiddos. Every day is a little different theme day. And so today I take something from the Olympics and we have a closing ceremony. So we have a closing ceremony today, and they get to get dressed up. So the Brielle will get dressed up, and Bryce and I will get dressed up. And Brielle's got a friend, and Wendy's here, so we'll all get dressed up, go to a nice little dinner, and have our closing ceremony. And we ask about how their week was, what their favorite things were throughout the week, what did they like, where they not want to do again. So we have a good time. So good morning to everybody. Good morning to you all. My name's Coach Brock Zevan, life coach, business coach, real estate agent, coach, and a DAD. It's been a little crazy. I had a closing this morning at 10 a.m., so my phone was already blowing up on a couple things, but it's better than I guess not having a closing, right? To get paid and to do that stuff. So excited! What a guest that we had yesterday. How great was she? Put a 10 in the chat if you got something out of Rebecca's guest that she had. I can't pronounce her name, but she was really good, and I'm excited. We're actually she's another person that we're thinking about bringing back on, and she already said yes to it. So bringing on some returning guests for you all that we feel brings value to the table. So and tomorrow our main man Todd Harris. Yes, you would be phenomenal in Key West, Alicia. Yes, we are working on that. Actually, I had somebody call me yesterday about speaking at it. So just finalizing a couple things on that. But the video is done, so the video will be out if you haven't seen the video yet. But Todd Harris, Michelle with our Figure Out Friday Authors Edition, come back tomorrow. Our very own one of our leaders, Todd Harris, has his book that we're going to be talking about that tomorrow. But without further ado, enough of my jibber jabber. I don't know where the guy is. I think he's back in the United States. We don't know yet, but we'll find out here very shortly what part of the world this man is at. I'm gonna if I remember correctly, he should be in Alaska, but who am I to try to take any guesses? So, without further ado, guys, it's been a while since I seen the smiling face. Put some fives in the chat. Just put some five. Oh, real quick, while I say the fives in the chat, I had two people who did a podcast yesterday. They texted me. They're like, I tried to do your put numbers in the chat thing. Put numbers in the chat. I said, oh yeah, that's what it's all about. So put some fives in the chat. Put some loves on there. Get your emojis fired up and rocking and rolling on this Thursday. Good morning, Derrick Green. What's up, brother?
Good morning, brother. And good morning to everybody on here. Good morning and good morning. And to answer your question, bro, I'm coming to you guys from Alaska. I arrived back in Alaska 4 hours ago after
Oh,
a very
jeez.
long flight back. But I'm here.
Damn. Well, I appreciate you being here, man, because I'm sure that pillow has been calling your name.
Hey, bro, I'm curious though. You said that you have this family vacation wrap up thing, and it's actually exciting me. I want to know what were your key takeaways from your family vacation.
So I love when my kids ask me to go walk on the beach. So we walked on the beach the first night we were here. It was just me and the kids at the time, and they wanted to go walk on the beach, and Bryce wanted to throw the football. So to me, that is my love language of the sport that I love that he wants to play, and we did that on the beach. And so, to me, my greatest takeaways is anything they ask me to do that is in a relationship to them. Like Brielle wanted me to play volleyball, and so I got to play volleyball with her on the beach. And yesterday was miniature golf. So any type of activity to me that doesn't require is I'm sure you're aware, like this day and age of cell phones and tablets that gets mesmerized by them. So anything that doesn't require that and alone time playing with them is my greatest thing that I love so much.
See, and that's one of the reasons I love you, man. It's like you're in the military as a master resiliency trainer, is what I used to be called. They teach you this thing called hunting the good stuff. You
Hmm.
always every day you spend at least three things that you're searching for the good things in life. And you know, I don't know how you define success, Brock, but when a man can wake up and just appreciate the fact that he can throw a football with his son, or that his daughter doesn't want to have a phone or an iPad, she just wants to spend time with her daddy. Like, to me, man, that sounds like a success. So congrats on that. I think Jasmine
Thanks.
Henry agrees with me. She's all bobbing. I think she agrees. So good job on that,
Yeah.
bro.
Thanks, and shout out to Jasmine. Speaking of, she put a house under contract. We've been busy this week, all between work and everything else. She put a house under contract, so congratulations to her. Her one of her listings went under contract, so it's a blessing to have amazing people within our team. Still, still there. While I'm able to be here, still able to, make business happen and grow and learn. So shout out to you, Jasmine.
Shout out to all y'all, man. That's bro. I didn't come here with a message. Actually, I was sitting here and I'm like, man, what am I going to talk about today? Am I going to talk about like sleep deprivation? Am I going to talk about traveling the world? Am I just going to answer questions? What am I going to talk about today?
I
And
actually have a question for you.
go ahead.
So you asked me, and I want you all to think about the last time you were on vacation, or you were doing something with your family, or you were doing something. So if you're working right now, just pause, because there's several people that been telling me they're going on spring break, and I asked them. I said, "Do you take time for yourself? Do you take time away from your cell phone?" And I have a schedule on how I do my vacation time because I do have to blend both in, but there is usually by 12:30, it's either my cell phone will die because I don't charge it. On vacation, I won't charge it. I would charge it overnight, but once it's dead, and you won't get in touch with me until later on that day. But if I do last, it'll go to about 12:30, 1 o'clock, and then I shut it down. So I want you to think for all those that are working and trying to do something, let your mind relax because I'm going to ask Derek a question. I want you to think about this all because you just asked me the question, Derek. And so think about the last time you were on vacation or you were with your family or you were in a moment, maybe with your significant other at dinner, and reminisce about the conversation where it was. Because I knew specifically, like I remember, I could see Bryce when he said to me, throw the football, and I could see Brielle when she threw the volleyball to me and asked me to play. So, Derek, you've been away, you've been in a different country. And many of us maybe not have. I haven't been to like the Philippines. And what was your takeaway from your team, from that culture, from what you've seen? I've seen your Facebook stuff. I've been seeing what it meant to you to be around your team and what they do. I think it's different to be there physically than just being on a Zoom. But for you, what were some of your key takeaways that you got being there for an extended period of time and seeing a whole new environment?
Bro, that's a great question. Follow me on this. Towards the very end of the trip, we went to this town. So I have a chef here in Alaska, and her name is Army. She's from a town called Baguio in the Philippines. And I promised her that I would go to her town so that I could see where she's from. It was very important for her that I see that town. So I actually left the beach. If you guys looking at all the beautiful pictures of Boracay, I was in this beautiful beach town, and I left that to go up into the mountains on a different island to see where she's from. While up there, man, there's so many things to talk about, Brock, but I just want to share with you guys one story towards the end. So I'm with my executive virtual assistant, and I'm with one of my marketing gurus, and we take one of these paddle boats. You know, you row the boat in this lake in Baguio, and there's other boats and things there. And the ladies thought it was funny to tell me like left, right, because I'm facing them and I'm rowing, but we're heading in this direction. And so I don't know, man. It just hit me, Brock. I said, all right, listen, I'm just going to close my eyes because you ladies need to learn how to communicate better. I need you to guide me better. And so I closed my eyes and I refused to open my eyes the remainder of the boat trip. So for about 20 minutes, they had to navigate me. They had to learn how to tell me which way to row, which arm to use, which direction, how much power, when to slow down, when to stop, when to go. And I even made them make me park the boat in reverse back at the dock. All of that with the eyes closed as the boat dock staff was there. But before we made it back, I ended up pausing in the middle of the lake, just stopping. And man, it turned into this whole friggin' sauce of life session that I didn't anticipate at all. We were there to visit the night market and check out the food and the vendors and all this type stuff. And it just turned into this life lesson for me, man. And if you don't mind, I'll give a few key takeaways from that lesson, and then we can talk about it. I
Yeah.
learned that it's possible um, if I close my eyes, that statement of let go and let God, right? That's the best synopsis I can have of that. Let go and let God. Sometimes you have to close your eyes and you have to let go and be guided by something that you can't necessarily see, but you have to trust. And I had to learn how to trust, or as much as it was a trust exercise for them, it was a trust exercise for me. And a part of it was there was this section of the lake between a dock and a rope that was a little more than like a boat and a half's length. And they had to navigate me through that channel without hitting the dock or hitting the rope. And the first time we came to it, now mind you, my eyes are closed. The first time we came to it, actually, my eyes were open, and they were so busy, chatting with each other that they were too afraid to go through the gap. So this is actually when I closed my eyes and told them to do it again. And we did a circle. They made me do a circle and they came back. And the first time they were scared, Brock. So we had to do another circle and come back around. But by then, they had been so comfortable talking with each other and navigating that they were able to get through that. And they literally let out a gasp, like excitement, happy, clapping with each other that they did it, that we got through. And for me, it was just this realization that sometimes I have to let go and trust. And sometimes when I let go and I trust, it actually builds greater trust in that person within themselves or within that entity within themselves. Sometimes when you allow somebody else to guide you, you actually watch them come out of their shell. You
Mm.
enable their leadership to actually shine through. They start to believe in themselves, and then they lose the fear that they've had in being able to do that thing in guiding you. So that was a key takeaway from there. Another thing
Wow.
was just the beauty of listening, bro, taking away one of the senses and saying, I'm giving up my sight. I'm just going to sit here and listen. And I listened to these ladies. They worked it out amongst themselves. I no longer had to say things like, hey, one of you needs to be in charge. Both of you can't tell me what to do at the same time.
Mhm.
I just let go. And they had to figure it out amongst themselves. And they just did. I don't know how to explain it, bro. They just did. And you and I both have virtual assistants in the Philippines and maybe in other places across the world. And maybe, bro, maybe some of the confusion that has happened in my team was because I was trying to control everything and I didn't allow
Mm.
the team to click together enough. In the military, we do these trust exercises. They have these leadership courses. And in those leadership courses, they always give you something like you have to cross this river, but they give you a couple two by fours and a piece of rope, but it's never long enough to actually get across. And you have to develop this faith in your team and their ability to overcome, their ability to adapt, their ability to think together. And that's kind of what this thing was, man. It sounds crazy, bro, but just imagine me rowing this rowboat in this pond with all these other people, all this lake with all these other people. And I have these two ladies that didn't know each other prior to becoming my virtual assistants that are now so close that they're literally sisters. all of them, bro. I watched the family come together, bro. And so when you're
Yeah.
asking me like what are the key takeaways that I have, the most powerful thing that I witnessed was that. And I saw, man, I was just watching a video before I came on here. We went parasailing, bro, parasailing. They were terrified. But I have this one that her name is Shin, and she's like 5 foot nothing, 100 and nothing, just tiny petite. She's a numbers whiz though. But there were so many fears that I felt like she had. But man, you talk about gratitude, you talk about appreciation, Brock.
Mm,
So many times I heard her say things like, this girl is literally in tears. She screamed for 15 minutes while parasailing. 15 minutes. But you know what, Brock? Somebody else wouldn't have went. Somebody else wouldn't have gotten on the boat. They wouldn't have clicked into that harness, and they wouldn't have allowed that boat to just release them and let them go. And she accepted that. And she said, when am I ever going to get to go parasailing again? One day I'm going to tell my kids about this when I have them. And she was serious about that thing. And she's just like, I want to be able to tell my grandkids that their grandma went parasailing. You see,
mm,
sometimes we take things for granted because we have the resources in this country. We have the ability to go out and go see a beach. You know, there's people that live on the island in the Philippines that haven't been to the beach.
mm,
There are people who haven't left their own little town, their own little city where they are. And it's mind blowing to me. The level of gratitude that they show when you take them outside and do something that they may have never done, like scuba diving, putting on one of
mm-hmm,
the helmets that have the oxygen to it, and you just the diver takes you down to the bottom. And I know they're like screaming inside their helmets because I'm looking at them and they're terrified. But I'll tell you something else that happened, Brock, is that one of my assistants, her name is Heidi. We get on this boat, and Heidi is like, I can't swim. I can't swim. And then two of the other girls like, I can't swim either. But when Shin jumped in the water, Heidi was already there. And at some point, Shin got tired, and I watched Heidi grab Shin. I don't know how many of you are swimmers, or how many of you have ever had to do a buddy assist, and you grab someone and you have to take them back
mm.
into shore.
I had to do that in Boy Scouts.
Boy Scouts is awesome for lessons like this because Shin is tired and she's out there kicking, and the current is going. We're in the middle of the ocean, bro. We're in the middle of the ocean. These are ladies that would not walk into the water in the beach, right? Because they're afraid. But we're in the middle of the ocean and they jump into the water and they have their life vests. And I watched Heidi swim out and grab Shin and swim back to the boat with Shin, towing her, kicking and towing her and towing her all the way back until Shin can grab onto the rope. And I recorded it. Damn, it made me cry because I'm looking down and I go, I thought you said you couldn't swim. And sometimes when it's like Gandhi said, you find yourself when you lose yourself in service to others. You
Mm-hmm.
see, the lie that she had been telling herself that she couldn't swim went out the door when someone else's life mattered more than hers. She wanted to make sure that her friend, her new sister, could make it back to the boat. And I watched them do that, bro, and that was just freaking amazing. Another thing was this cliff dive that we did. I know, Brock, I know I'm going, but you asked, so I'm telling you, I want to share this trip with you guys. We did a cliff dive, and I watched them, man. I watched each one of them stand up there, and I watched one of them on that thing for almost 20 minutes. She's in tears, and she's telling me, she looked at me, and I'm in the water and I'm treading water beneath her, and I'm telling her the water's deep enough. The water's and like I got you. I promise you. I promise you I won't let you drown. And so she's on this cliff and she's looking down at me and she's telling me exactly where she wants me to go in the water. Be right there, Derrick, because when I jump, you have to get me. You have to catch me. And it reminded me, bro, you would understand this as a dad when Brielle looks at you and there's something that she's terrified to do. But it doesn't matter how terrified she is, she trusts her dad more than the fear that's holding her back. And that's what happened on this thing. And I'm not a big sappy dude, but I'll tell you what happened is she looked down at me, she locked eyes, and she said, "All right, Derrick, I trust you. I'm gonna do it. I trust you." And it reminded me of when my wife was battling, and it was her final moments of life. And I climbed into the bed with her, and I held on to her, and she was the most terrified I've ever seen anybody be. And I told her to look at me, look at me. And she just looked at me. And I started talking with her and repeating the wedding vows. And this is what allowed her to transition when I provided her that safety. And here I am. I got this kid up on this young lady up on this cliff looking down at me. And she locks eyes and she just says, "I trust you. Don't let me drown." Bro, there's this feeling as a dad, as a Leo, right? I'm a Leo, man. I'm a protector. But I'm looking, and in that moment, I knew, bro, I'll drown before I let that girl drown.
Mhm.
I already knew it, I already accepted it. And somehow that was conveyed to her without me having to say a word. And she jumped. But because she was the scariest one, and she was so terrified, bro, she was up there for more than 20 minutes, right? But eventually she jumped. It allowed everybody else to overcome their fears. And
Mm.
one by one, they climbed this cliff, they climbed this platform, and they jumped. And crazy enough, man, all these other people that were there were just encouraging, like, "Jump, we got you, we got you." It's like everybody else wanted to let them know, We promise you, we got you. You're gonna be safe." Those are some of my key takeaways, bro. I know you probably wanted, or some people maybe wanted to talk about the sunsets or the cruises or whatever, but just watching
Yeah.
people come to life, watching people learn to trust each other, watching people that are from different provinces across the Philippines gave me hope, especially because of some of the divisiveness that exists in this country now on whatever side of the spectrum you're on. There's a lot of division. There's a lot of fear. There's a lot of anger. There's a lot of resentment. There's so many things, man, that people point out to divide us. But I'm telling you, standing in the market one day and looking and going, damn, how many varieties of apples are there right here?
Mm.
Right? We can think about in a grocery store that you go to. You have the Red Delicious, and there's the Fuji, and there's the Honey Crisp, and there's the Granny Smith, and there's all these different type of apples, the Ambrosia, and the Super Sweet, and the Pink Lady, right? And so all of these things that people have assigned to us cause us at times to divide ourselves. Derek is black, Brock is white, Jasmine's from the country, but Kevin was born in the city, right? This is a girl, this is a boy, this is a Republican, this is a Democrat, this is all these freaking things. This one is a Christian, this one is a Muslim, this one is a Catholic, which is somehow different than all of them and all of these things. And in the end, there's a energy, there's a truth that we're all freaking apples. We're all human beings. And man, Brock, bro, if we can get back to that place where enough of us in this country and on this planet realize that we're all human beings and that there are things and forces that are just out there to divide us. And so, united we stand, divided we fall. If more people would realize that, then I believe that we could shift the energy of the world, bro.
Mm.
Yes, Kevin, we all
Yeah.
believe the same.
We all, I mean, listen, man. One is I appreciate you sharing your story. In those moments, and so many different things were coming inside my head, and you and I think alike on many different things. And so I'm going to give you my two takeaways from this on what you shared. And for those listening, I really want you to make sense of what Derek said, and hopefully that I can relate this accordingly. So I think about this, and I'm going to ask you all to think about. I believe it's fair to say that without Derek Green with these ladies are not going into those environments by themselves. She is not going up on that cliff if Derrick Green's not there. Those two ladies rowing the boat, they're not there if Derrick Green doesn't go to the Philippines. So my question to you all, who in your life maybe is in your life today that you're not allowing yourself to enter into that environment because of fear, or who in your life do you need to be around to push you into the fear that you're scared of? Because without Derek Green, these women are not doing what they're doing. They're going to stay in their comfort zone. And the second takeaway that I thought was very ironic is that, so you all know, like, you go to those like bars or restaurants or whatever, and like there's that ring, and you could pull the rope back, and then you let it go, and then you try to hook it up on the like one of those like eye hooks, and the ring connects on the eye hook. Anybody ever see those things at restaurants and bars? In So there was this one at this restaurant we went to, and Bryce has it, and you kind of like step back like this, and then you let it go, and then the string has to latch onto it. And Bryce is doing it for a while. And I wanted him to kind of like see what he does, and he couldn't do it. And I come over. He goes, Dad, you try. So I come over. I take it. I let it go, and I get it on the first try. Dad, how did you do that? I said, well, do you want me to teach you? He goes, yeah. I said, okay. And I would teach him. I said, come over here and let it go. And you know what he was doing? A mistake that many of us like to make is he kept pushing it and pushing it and pushing the ring. And and I said, Bryce, I need you to come over here. I need you to stand right here at this exact spot. And I don't want you to push. I just want you to let it go. And he got it. And he looked at me and he goes, Dad, how did you know that? And this is 6 years old. And I said to him, I said, you're forcing something and pushing something. That push can never be consistent because you could be standing at a different height, you could be pushing it, the wind could push your arm, anything could take place. But what I do know is this, Bryce, that when you stand exactly here and all you do is let go, that consistency is increased tenfold because it's the same degree, the same weight of that ring will be let go. And if you just stand right here, you could do it all day long because that momentum will push it. Now, was there outside extremes of wind and everything else? But obviously, I didn't get into that too much with him. But I shared with him, like, you just got to let it go, Bryce. Stop pushing it. Because when you push the ring, you're changing the projection of where this thing's going to go. And you cannot do it over and over again consistently enough. Maybe after several practices. But he did it a couple more times, and it was the coolest thing. One, I was giving him experiences, or I was using my previous experiences to help him coach him, kind of like your ladies when you were just like, close your eyes. And he had to trust me. I'm like, stand right here, put the ring right here, and just let it go. And so when you said that today about letting go and letting God in, it triggered into my head. And so I share this with you, and I'll let Derek conclude. Where in your life are you forcing something? Where in your life are you pushing something that you really just need to let go? Maybe somebody's telling you something what to do over and over again, and you're like a stubborn SOB like I was majority of my life, where I started just to learn and listen to people because their previous experiences could help expedite my journey by just listening and letting go. And who in your environment do you need to be around, like a Derek Green? Who's in your environment that you're missing out on an opportunity? So, Derek, I appreciate your thoughts there. I'll let you close this out, but those are my takeaways, man.
Man, I love you, bro. What you're talking about right there, for me, is faith and physics. Faith and physics. I will throw a third F in there, fathering. It's a part of our duties to be able to do what you did, is to stand there and talk to your son and provide that guidance to him. That's the fathering role. You're allowing him to develop his faith and you're teaching him about physics. Just let go. Sometimes you just have to let go. And the way that you're saying it just makes me want to conclude with this, y'all. That young lady that I was talking about, Shin. I watched Shin go from a woman that was literally scared to go out waist deep in the water because she was so terrified of trying to swim or anything like that. And the first time she got in the ocean, her fear blinded her so much that she couldn't see the fish around her as I'm tossing the bread and stuff. And she said to me, she said, "There's no fish." I'm like, "No, there's fish. Look, there's no fish." That by the end of the trip, she's scuba diving.
Mm.
So, as Brock asked you, who's around you that sometimes you just need to allow that fathering to develop that faith in the physics of your life? Let go so that you can watch your life move forward. Hit that ring more consistently. I appreciate you all. Y'all check in tomorrow for Figure It Out Friday. I will actually be able to attend Figure It Out Friday tomorrow. I'm back here and I have good internet. So I'm looking forward to it. I'll see all y'all later. Thank you very much for your time. And in honor of Jada over here, Coach Jada, y'all have an F3 type day. Let's go, good people. I'm going to sleep, Brock.
Get some rest, brother. Good night. Bye, all.
Bye.